Hello and welcome to episode 15 of A Bit of Bully. If you haven't seen it yet, you won't have because it's all been audio so far on Spotify and other podcast providers. But for the first time, we are coming to you from YouTube, so you can actually see us for the first time. And Darren is wearing his wonderful new t-shirt, which arrived just in time. Hello, Darren. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, not too bad. A little bit laggy. I've been away all week, haven't I, doing a bit of training.
Yeah,
So yeah, good. Nice to get home to this new shirt. So, and how are you? You good?
I'm good. Yeah, are you looking forward to our first outing on YouTube?
Yeah, excited for people to see our faces and know who we are.
Yeah, we'll soon find out how ugly we are when our 16,000 turns into one. Not 1,000. I mean one.
Oh right, on. Okay.
Anyway, enough of that. We're going to talk about Players Championship 21 and 22. We'll also look back at the World Cup, and we'll also talk about what's going on right now in the world of darts, i.e., to this weekend. For some people know, we record this on a Friday night, so when you're listening on a Saturday or a Sunday night, well, Sunday night when it comes out, then you will think we're a bit odd because we're talking about results that are just happening, but they're happening on a Friday night. So, but we'll keep you as up to date as we possibly can. So, first of all, let's talk about the World Championship. Players Championships 21 and 22. Then we'll review what happened at the end of the World Cup, and then we'll talk a little bit about a few other matters that we want to talk about. Players Championships 21. If I run through, I'm only going to go from the quarterfinals. I'm going to run through the results, and then we'll talk about those, and then we'll move on to the semi-finals and the final. So for those that don't know yet what happened in Players Championship 21 and 22, here's the quarterfinals from 21. Christoby got beat 6-4 by Bo Greaves. Wessel Nyman, for those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, he's probably the darts player we've mentioned more than any other in this period. Even though we've had the Premier League, he really is winning a lot this year. He beat Dotes 6-1. Ryan Searle beat Stephen Bunting 6-3. And Dirk van Dijvenbode lost out 6-4 to Johnny Clayton. Let's start with Greaves against Doby. 6-4, good result for Bo, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good result. Obviously I've not had much in regards to I've been away and stuff. But yeah, to hear that result, fair play. Both flying again. It's good to see.
She is indeed, and it goes further than that. Obviously, in the semi-finals, Wessel Nyman, he beat Kevin Dotes 6-1. I mean, that we know from the past few weeks that Kevin Dotes has been in the form of his life, really. So to be dismantled by Wessel Nyman, I mean, it's not a surprise, but it is a surprise that it's 6-1. What did you
Yeah,
make of?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I would expect it to be more of a closer game than that. I know Dotes is on good form as well at the moment, but you can't fault Nyman, can we? We mention him so much.
Yeah.
He's just incredible. That for such a young guy, he's just wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be up there in the rankings. It wouldn't surprise me to see him in the top 10, even higher than that, because he's not defending an awful lot of money. So in the ranking system, so he's got a good opportunity to keep rising up those rankings. And then
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
Ryan Searle beating Stephen Bunting 6-3, two sort of heavyweights of the game, two players that are quite high in the rankings. So that sounds like it was quite a game. 6-3. Ryan Searle, not bad.
yeah, yeah. Sounds like a really good game. That. I mean, Ryan's been. Yeah, he's had a steady season, hasn't he, so far this year? Haven't seen him as much and heard of him as much as what we used to. So yeah, to get a result there, against Stephen, obviously get himself into the semi-finals. So had a good little run.
He did, and he, of course, had a good World Championships, as we know.
Yeah.
It was only Luke Littler that dispatched him in the end, but he had a good run there. And then a Dutchman, Dirk van Dijvenbode, losing out to Johnny Clayton 6-4. I mean, Johnny Clayton's coming off the back of the Welsh run in the World Cup. But he goes straight into this, and a few days later, and he's still in good form. 6-4 win against Dirk van Dijvenbode, who's no slouch. Let's be fair.
Yeah, like you say, he's just carried his form into this tournament, hasn't he? Because he had a really good run in the World Cup of Darts, and I think it's brought a little bit of confidence back to himself. So he's took it into this tournament, and he's done really well.
He has. And then the semi-finals, Wesleyan Iman stopped Bo Greaves in her tracks. She lost out 7-4 to Wessel. But before we leave talking about Bo Greaves, I just want to run through the players that she beat on the way to this semi-final. Yeah. She beat Ryan Joyce 6-2. He's number 24 in the world. Ian White 6-3. Ian White, he's been around a long while, but he's still number 55.
Wow.
Adam Leake, she beat 6-1. Was Adam Leake part of the Australian World Cup of Darts?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. Luke Woodhouse, ranked number 17 in the world. She beat 6-3. And then Chris Dobie, ranked number 13 in the world. As we know, because we spoke about it just before, she won 6-4. So on her run to the semi-final, she only lost 13 legs, played a great tournament, and got beat by Wesleyan Iman. I mean, not many people beat her anyway at the moment, but great run for her, that, isn't it? I mean, some players, they're cracking, We know Ian White's a great player. We know Ryan Joyce, Luke Woodhouse, Chris Dobie and Adam Leake, all great players. She dispatched relatively easily with some of them. Ryan Joyce 6-2.
Yeah, that's it. Like you say, it's all players pretty much at the moment, because obviously she's new to the circuit. All players that are above her in the rankings, and she's dispatched all of them. And the only guy that could obviously beat her is the most informed player this season. So Nyman took her out in the end, but it could have easily gone all the way.
Yeah, absolutely, and it dispels this myth that we've had for years that women are quite as good as men at darts. Well, it perhaps they just haven't had the same opportunities as men. That's perhaps the first thing to say. But it's taken somebody like Bo Greaves to come along as a world youth finalist to show how good she really is, and get a tour card, and then starting to dispatch these players. The reason, I mean, I have mentioned Bo Greaves in previous podcasts. We've talked about it, haven't we, Darren? Yeah. But we don't talk about her because she's seemingly the sole woman that's really fighting with a tour card this year. But we talk about it because perhaps women need to be getting the same opportunities as men when they're younger. Now you run an academy, as we know, and we'll talk about a couple of your players later on. But just tell me, in your academy, what sort of a take-up is there now of boys versus girls? Are girls getting more into it now?
It's there's still a massive gap there, and whether that's just because it's only really Bo that's being screamed and shouted about. There is other quality women players out there that are just not getting the attention, and not getting the positive press and stuff that they need. The girls' game, I know, is thriving, in regards to like the junior girls, JDCs and stuff like that. There's a lot of high quality girls coming through the system, and with the WDF as well. I know there's a young girl, I think she's only she's 15 this year, I think. But anyway, she's currently representing England again in the Nations Cups. So the game is good for the young girls. It's just getting more of them, acknowledging it. Currently at my academy, I've got 5 girls currently at the academy. What compare that to 80 odd, 90 boys? It's it's still a massive gap.
But it is closing, which is good news.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's more and more girls coming out and wanting to try the game at a young age, which is where we need to capture them. We just need to nurture them, look after them, and show them that they can do it and they can compete with the boys, and they'll be flying.
I think from my point of view, darts is darts is where it is now is nothing. It's nothing like what it was like when let's say 30 years ago. And we were talking, when you go back that period of time, even back to the 1980s and 1990s, when you talk, back then it was fat blokes in the pub, and it's changing the darts image from that to where we are today, to being more. So girls haven't had the chance years, 30, 40 years ago, or even 20 years ago. So they're only starting to come through now, and we can only hope that it carries on, because the sport is better for having battle with both sexes, or not say both sexes, or I suppose say all sexes now, but having women, men we're given the same chances, or boys and girls given the same chances to rise up through rankings.
Well, that's it. I mean, when you go back and over like say 20 years ago, whatever, Trina Gulliver just dominated the girls' sports and the girls' darts. She was an unbelievable player, and no one could get near her. And then obviously, Dieter Hedman, and players like that started coming through, started challenging, and they all did really, really well. And then I think a young girl came through from Russia, Anastasia, and she looked like she could dominate for years and years and years, but unfortunately her career was cut short. But the standard she brought to the girls' game, in the video at the time, you could see that the level was going up, and since then it's just got better and better. And there's girls, like you say, now throwing 100 averages, and it's only going to get more and more better the way it's going. I think the next 10, 15 years, I think you're going to have 6, 7, maybe more than that, 16 girls, probably top 16 in the world, that'll all be throwing 100 plus averages.
Yep. And no, it can't come sooner. Let's carry on with the Players' Championship 21.
Yes.
Ryan Searle beat Johnny Clayton 7-5 in the other semi-final. And the final was between Wessel Nyman and Ryan Searle. Wessel Nyman beating Searle 8-6. So yet again, another win for Wessel on the tour. And people will hear more and more about him as the year goes on, I'm sure. Let's look at Player Championship 22. And what I will say is the quarterfinals, you don't know the results yet because you've been away, but the quarterfinals have a fair few players that you wouldn't normally expect to see at the quarterfinal stage. It's no disrespect to them whatsoever, but if I run through them, Gabriel Clemens 5, Tom Bissell 6, Arno Merckx 4, Rob Cross 6, great to see him throwing well again, Tommy Morris 4, Stephen Bunting 6, Van Veen 3, and I don't know how to say this, I'm sorry, I think it's Make Kyvenhoven.
Oh, okay. It's a new name.
Yeah, he's ranked 72 in the world.
Right, okay. Not really heard of him very often.
I mean, we've heard it. I've heard of Gabriel Clemens. I've heard Bissell's name, but you don't hear it often. we obviously know Rob Cross. Arno Merckx is a good player, but he doesn't often get into quarterfinals and semi-finals, does he? Tommy Morris, I don't know that name. I'm not being disrespectful to him, I think. He got beat by Stephen Bunting, of course, who we do know. And Van Veen getting beaten, 6-3. Perhaps that's a hangover from the World Cup of Darts final. I don't know. Maybe.
Potentially.
And in the semi-finals, my mate Kyvenhaven 7, Tom Bissell 6, and Rob Cross 7, Stephen Bunting 3. So we had a final of Rob Cross. Great to see him throwing well again, and make Kyvenhaven, a Dutch name that I haven't pronounced before, so do apologise for that if I've got it wrong.
You're doing a great job.
Trying my hardest. And Rob Cross won 8-7 in the final, which I think, Rob's been on a bit of a journey this year, hasn't he? He's seen him. He's been getting beat quite often early on in tournaments. He has had a couple of runs, but it's nice to see him finally winning another title. It's good to see him back, isn't it, Darren?
It is, yeah. It's good to see him get over that line. Like you say, going deep into a tournament and getting the win. I think it's doing the world of good. I know he's had a lot going on, so he has been struggling a bit, but fair play to him. Fantastic to see him up there again, getting a result.
That should give him confidence for the rest of the year, shouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You'd hope, anyway. Let's quickly have a talk about the World Cup of Darts. Great tournament, absolutely fantastic tournament. Really enjoyed it. Even the early rounds, the group stages, it was very enjoyable, as always is. And very interesting being a doubles tournament. Darren, what did you make of the latter stages of it, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to touch on the fact that obviously people that have listened to the podcast, the previous week, obviously we touched on who we felt some of the seeds that potentially could struggle. But we actually pretty much nailed it on the head. I thought it was, we did really well there. Might take up predicting more often, I think. But yeah, no, just touching on, obviously we'll go straight to the semi-finals, and England played Scotland, and England got an 8-3 result there. And the other semi-final, Netherlands played Northern Ireland, which they came out on top with an 8-2 victory.
Yeah, of course, that's a big victory margin, considering they're playing the holders. For those that don't know, Northern Ireland did win it last year, of course. Great result that was for Van Veen and MVG. Both of them big names now and right up there in the top 5 of the world. So
that's it, yeah. I mean, it seems a bit strange, doesn't it, that the 4 that was seeded that got the bye through the group stage got straight to managed to get to the semi-finals.
Yeah.
But it's a shame there's no underdog in there, really. It
is a little bit, yeah. But then you got the likes of Republic of Ireland were specifically Willie O'Connor was complaining, wasn't he, that those 4 teams shouldn't get a bye. Would they have stood less chance had they played in that very first round, do you think?
I think with the group stages being so tough, you can't afford to lose one, really. Especially if you're on early in the morning the first day and you lose your first game, you're then waiting, aren't you, to play your second game late in the evening the following day. So you look at that, you could be out before you've even played.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, I mean, the group stages are very tricky. And the fact that you've give the best 4 teams that are ranked, a freebie pass, it kind of does feel that way. But I mean, there's a ranking system there for a reason. They want the top four nations. They want them semi-finals and finals. Because it's they're ranked that high for a reason. They're going to bring on the quality. They're going to bring on the best game for people to see, aren't they?
They are, and it happens in every sport, doesn't it? It happens in football. You don't get Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City playing in the preliminary rounds of the FA Cup. It happens in every sport, whatever it is. In rugby league and rugby union and cricket, every single sport, the top ranked teams usually come in at a late stage in tournaments. So it's nothing unusual, but I do get the point, Willie O'Connor's point, that perhaps he feels it shouldn't be the case. But the four of them getting into the semi-final kind of proves that perhaps that was the right decision, maybe.
Yeah.
But England, I'd like to talk about them because last year, out as soon as they were put in at the second round, and they completely folded, and that's a pairing of Luke Littler and Luke Humphreys, two darts players that you would not want to come up against in any game. And we thought last year that they would be this super force and take over the world, and they really didn't. They flopped. Maybe they took it for granted themselves. I think perhaps they did, to be fair. But this year they came out fighting, didn't they? Didn't you ever look at some of the averages that they did?
Yeah. So England finished the tournament with a 100 average in total, so a 100 tournament average, which for doubles, that's incredible.
It is, isn't it? It is. We saw a few records tumble in this year's World Cup. I mean, the doubles pairings getting in the hundreds average is just crazy stuff. For those that don't understand doubles and perhaps watching this for the first time, someone throws three darts, then the other player throws the next three. So there's no continuity unless you're really good at it. And I think this year, do you think that the two Lukes really trained for this one?
I don't know what's happened behind the scenes, but it seems like Luke, we all know Luke's a quick player. He's a very rhythmic player. And especially in doubles, when you've got to wait 6 darts to throw another 3 darts, you can't really get a rhythm. It's so hard to get a rhythm in a game like that. So doubles can be very, very challenging. So either last year was, like you say, a stumbling block because there was no preparation. He didn't know what to expect. He's probably played a number of doubles competitions before, but to be in the World Cup, it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? Even the atmosphere, everything. So that could be the reasoning behind it. And this year, he's just come into it going, right, I know what's what now.
Yeah, maybe a ball from last year.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think. Otherwise, like you say, have they done a training thing where they've thrown 3 darts and then stepped back and gone, right, you've got to wait at least 1 minute, so 30 seconds per player, then go on and throw, then wait a minute, and maybe they've done that. I don't know. We'll never find that out, will we?
No, we won't. But they did look more comfortable up on the hockey there, didn't they? And of course, in the final, what was the score in the final?
So the final, England ran away with it pretty much. They dispatched the Netherlands 10-5 overall, and like you say, in the final they had 104 average to Netherlands 98. It's incredible.
104
average in the final. Absolutely insane.
I mean, 98's good, isn't it? I mean, that would win you most doubles, I would have thought.
Yeah, easy.
Crazy stuff. Right, talking about the Dutch, there is one Dutch player I want to touch on just briefly, and he is a superstar of the game, somebody that both you and I have probably watched for the last 20 years and watched in amazement at some of the darts he's thrown. And that's Raymond van Barneveld. And the reason I want to touch on that is because I noticed when looking at Players Championships 21 and 22, that he was out in the first round in both of those games. Now, he is a great player, but the last time he won more than one game in the Players Championships was in the Players Championships 14 and 1 on 22 now. And sorry, so 14 and 20 are the only times he's done it. And in 14, he the first round, he went out in the second round on those two occasions. In the first round, he won a game against a player ranked 176 in the world. So, I mean, rankings sometimes mean nothing, but you have to take them into account when they're either starting in a game when they're down that level or they're not playing well, one to two. And the only time, so those are the only times he's been past round one since Players Championship 10. Now, also, he went out of the UK Open in the first round, the Austrian Darts Masters in the first round. He's only won 4 Players Championship games this year since the World Championships. He's not won on the Euro Tour. And so he's won 4 games since going out at the first round in the World Championships. Now, the reason I bring it up is because you have players that we all know. You look back, Eric Bristow, Jockey Wilson, Phil Taylor, and now Luke Littler, Luke Humphreys, Michael Van Gerwen, all players that have played some brilliant darts. Is there a time when you think a darts player should hang up their darts? Not that you hang up, but put your darts away in the case for one last time on the professional circuit? Because it seems sad to me to watch Raymond van Barneveld playing, losing his games, but also when you watch him, he doesn't look happy when he's playing. So it's not a question of should Raymond now retire. It's a question of should players know when their time is up and go out when they're still competitive.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
My opinion, obviously, we know he's retired twice, and then he's came back. I mean, he's clearly got the bug still and the love for the game, and I just feel like he's not ready to let it go. But you're right in regards to when your game's not there and you're not competing anymore. There's probably more cost to it than there is what you're gaining in tournaments because you're going out first round, second round. So it's more of a side where you need to decide, isn't it? Where you say, look, I'm not, it's not physically possible to do anymore. I can't do it. I can't compete. But it's up to him and this management team around him to tell him that, look, it's time. Maybe we go out, and we do exhibitions and we spend the rest of our career. If there's a senior event and what have you, go and do senior events. He's still got the game. We know that. We can see that. But yeah, it's a hard one to call, isn't it?
It is a hard one to call, but for me, it's disappointing. It's that thing where you want to remember them as they were, but what's happening is that memory of that player that was winning almost everything is kind of getting tarnished. And I mean, people like you and I, perhaps we will always remember those times. Doesn't matter what happens now, but from the world of darts to perhaps those that aren't watching it all the time, is it perhaps tarnishing the memory that those people, those more casual supporters or people aren't like looking at results like we are, because we have to look at them as a whole all the time because of this podcast.
Yeah.
For me, it just seems I don't like this tarnishing of his reputation. So I don't want people to remember him as this old guy that keeps going out in the first round. He's not old, but older than the youth that are coming through,
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. Like, I mean, I've known it, like you say, a long time. So I've always got a fantastic memory of the guy when he played the WDO, or the BDO, should I say? Apologies for that. Yeah, so I have a very good memory of him playing that and absolutely dominating, and it was amazing to watch him in that. PDC wise, obviously he went over and he challenged and he's had some classics. Let's be honest, there's been some classics against Taylor in the finals, and but winning competitions wise, I've got more of a memory with him with the WDO, the BDO. Get it right. Yeah, that's because of the WDF, isn't it? It's the new name for it.
Yeah.
The BDO, yes. So I always remember them ones because he was so good at winning the world championships at the BDO. Yeah, but it is a shame. But what can we do?
Oh, we can't do anything, Darren. That's the thing. But it's kind of our wish. It's as we are fans of him, and that's why I want to discuss it. I don't want to discuss it to diss him or to say, oh, he's crap now. It's not that. It's more that we actually like the guy, like what he does, and want the memory to be for everybody to be of that player that we once knew, and not a guy that keeps going out in the first round of tournaments. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, again. I hope he improves. He might prove me completely wrong, and he might be having a bit of a bad time at the moment on the hockey, and then all of a sudden we'll get this old player that get this player that was playing like he was a few years ago once again. Right, that's it from professional darts. But I wanted to bring up. I've spoken about your academy earlier on in this episode, but you told me something a couple of weeks ago about one of your young lads, Oliver, wasn't it? Playing in a men's tournament. So I'm going to hand this over to you for you to explain to the viewers. I'll get used to that, viewers and listeners, because we've got both. But yeah, hand over to you, Darren, to sort of explain what's gone on there, and how did Oliver first get into this men's tournament, and then what happened?
Yes, so as some of our listeners know that obviously have came over to watch us, I talk we try and talk about some of the academy successes whenever we can. So Oliver plays in quite a few men's vaults, basically the ADC vaults they're called, where they ran in different locations all over the week. You can join one. And it's like a round robin tournament played throughout the day, and then obviously you can get through to the knockout stages, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals. So Oliver attended my one that I run at Deeside Naval Club, and he defeated quite a few county senior players to get to the final, and he won the final. So he's won it at 13 years old. He's won his first men's competition, or adults competition, should I say, because it is a mixed event. And he actually finished the tournament with a 73.54 tournament average, which for 13 years old is very, very good.
It is indeed.
But following on from that, the ADC vaults are finished now, so they have a little 3-week break where they can do the finals and stuff like that. and he attended on Sunday just gone. He attended a competition, same format. Again, it's an adults competition, and he also went on and won that one. So he's now won two adult competitions in the space of a couple of weeks, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Just obviously want to quick shout out to another player who's had a lot of success recently. A player we've mentioned before again, Freddie Argyle.
Yeah.
So he played in a junior Grand Slam. So it's a kids competition. And he got to the finals, and he played against a well-known JDC Foundation Tour North winner. He's won quite a few events before. I won't mention names for obviously personal stakes, but he actually went on to win that competition, which is amazing. Yeah. And then after that, he got, obviously with his confidence being so high, he entered a adults competition again, where he went on an amazing run. And in the semi-finals, he had to play a current tour card holder.
Okay.
Again, I'm not going to mention names, but Freddie managed to win 3-0 against the tour card holder.
Really?
With a 75 average. And so he got to the final, and unfortunately, he just fell short in the final.
Oh, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, that's a hell of an achievement anyway. I mean, these kids just are astounding. And I say each week, every time we talk about the kids, there are academies up and down this country, as you know, Darren, because you'll know that everywhere there are academies popping up and young players coming through, which is something we never saw in darts until recent years. And it's a Luke Littler effect, and you can't hide away from that. It really is. His success as a youngster has brought so much more focus on these young players, but it's given young players a belief that they can do the same, and they're astounding. It's unreal that you're talking that 13, 14-year-olds are beating tour card holders. That's just silly. It's just great, but it's silly. It's like, in a good way, silly. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So well done to and Freddie. And for those that are joining us now and haven't watched or listened to our previous episodes, Freddie was the star of a number of our episodes when he was doing a 180s in a month challenge for charity that he absolutely smashed. And how many did he get in the end?
I couldn't tell you the full figure, but I know he was, I think it was around 220 something. I think I might be well off. It might be 240 something. But I know in the end, he absolutely smashed it out of the park.
He did. Well, thank you very much for joining us on our first YouTube journey. And thank you very much, Darren, for joining me today. And we look forward to welcoming you next week. We do hope that a lot of you get a chance to see this and move over. If you're listening to this on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, then you can watch it on YouTube. So we are 16,000 followers. It would be nice for you to see us as well. So please do join us on YouTube. Thank you very much, Darren. Have a great week. I hope it's not as busy as last week and you get some time to relax and watch the darts. But thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you.
I've been a bully, I travel 20.